Welcome to the second edition of Water Polo World. In this edition, Barceloneta is going strong this season. Let's hear their story. News from pools around Europe. And we talked with Tamas Molnar, the chairman of World Aquatics Water Polo Technical Committee, the reason of the new rules and regulations. La Barceloneta, the coastline neighbourhood and one of the most liveliest parts of Barcelona. Famous for its sandy beaches, charming narrow streets and good vibes. A place that players of Club Natació Athletic Barceloneta call home. Established in 1913, the club has more than 60 trophies inside their rich water polo treasure chest. One of them shining the brightest, the Champions League trophy won exactly 10 years ago in their own backyard that hosted the Final Six tournament. When it comes to securing the place among the best 4 clubs of Europe, they came pretty close in the last edition. But the question remains, is this the season to replicate the biggest success on the European stage?
This year is a bit different team. We changed 5 players, which is a lot. But I think it's a good, like same as with the national team. I think it's with the new cycle. It's always good to have a new blood in the team, and we are much younger. I think that we are faster as a team. Definitely, we need to adjust many things in both sides, in defense and in attack. But I think, and to be honest, I was a bit afraid after the Olympics, because no matter of the result, good or bad, you always felt a little bit emptiness, and because this is like the pinnacle competition for everyone. But I think the new players, they gave us everything what we expected, because they were really competitive, quality, young, and the old one, they accept that, and it's really a pleasure to work with this team. When you compete in some competition, you're always swimming to finish. To play that last game to win that competition, and we are very motivated for many things, but I think that we have to go game by game, because this is still very, very young team. 5 players is a lot, so every team they need some adaptation period to reach some standard that they want. Definitely, I believe that we have amazing attacking potential, but we know that you can win the competition only with a good defense. So this is something that we have to work a lot. We want to be a little bit unpredictable in that way as well in defense, which is not easy, because now everyone analyzes you and everything, but I think that we have a potential. But as I said, we want to go game by game, and we will see for what that will be enough.
5 different players when you compare the rosters with the previous seasons, and that is a lot. But one of the newcomers isn't really a newcomer. Better to say, he returned to his nest.
Well, when we talk about Alvaro, maybe we talk about the most dangerous player in the world of water polo in attack. So definitely he is a great asset for us. It's very helpful that he's very familiar with everything. You know, it's how the club function. He knows most of the players, and definitely he's a big important for us in this moment. Absolutely, I think that we can see that he's changed in these 2-3 years, because he put some marks on the map of the water polo, how he played last 2 years in the national team, in the New Belgrade. So definitely he went from here as a kid, he came as an adult man, and a player. So absolutely great player for this team.
Croatian coach, an ex-player himself, no stranger when it comes to winning the most special European trophy of them all, as he managed to do it twice with Jug, one of the clubs he played for throughout his career, with the other one being Mladost Zagreb. After a stint with the Australian men's national team, he switched Bondi Beach for Barcelonetas and embarked on a new and ambitious journey, the one at the northeast coast of the Iberian Peninsula.
I came to Barcelona after mine almost 9 years in Australia as a head coach of the national team, and in 21 around my birthday in May, I decided after call from Barceloneta that maybe it's good for me and also for the Australian national team to change a bit. And I really, both sides that we have like a good choice in the very end, and because I really enjoyed in Australia, but here it was like a little bit more competitive, but on a different way, because this is the club competition, and this is my 4th year here, and we won all the domestic competitions here, and we were like very competitive in Europe. We won the bronze medal a year ago, and definitely I'm enjoying to work with this team.
One of the players that has been enjoying Barceloneta for the past 10 years is Alberto Munarriz.
For me, I think like this club has become like part of my life, like my family. I came here 10 years ago. I'm 30 years old, so 1/3 of my life I've spent it here in this club, in this city. I'm from another city of Spain, so like for me, I don't know, it's a huge part of my life, as I said, and I'm really proud to be part of something like that. I started 10 years ago, and I came here with 19 years old. I grew up like as a player, as a person, so it means a lot to me.
Munna offers plenty of experience. A European champion with the Spanish national team from earlier this year, added another medal the following month, a 3rd place in Doha at the World Championships. Years and years of representing not only Spain, but also Zodiac Barceloneta shaped him as a player. But which season in particular did it the most?
Probably I couldn't say, because like when I was younger, I think I grew a lot, but it was like a different time then. I don't know, probably your mindset changes. I've been lucky enough to play with many different players, to learn from many of them, so I couldn't choose one like specifically. Obviously, my first one, we won the Champions League, which was like amazing for the club, amazing achievement. So this season was extremely special. But like I think as a player, I grew like a lot more like the following season. So I couldn't choose one, but all of them have been like extremely special. So.
Talking about that specific Champions League trophy won at their domestic ground, how much has changed?
I think in many ways, also the club, like the club expectations at that time weren't like as high as probably they are now. I think like it also has like evolved together with the national team, so that like Barceloneta is built almost like exclusively with Spanish players. Then we bring like some foreigners, but like Spanish players are the basis. So like I think at that time it was like a really good moment to start to build something with the Spanish players, and well, I think it was like big change, because now like Barceloneta for the last few years, like last year we weren't, but we have been like kind of going through every last final 8 or final 4 or whatever of the season. So now we feel in ourselves like it's an obligation to be there, like Barceloneta must be there. So I think it's also like a big change in our mindset.
The game plan for punching the ticket to Malta this time is plain and simple.
We have many new players, so we need to use every Champions League game like to try to improve as a team, like to build a true team. And I think like we need to put everything like individually that we have on behalf of the team. I think that's going to be the key. I think we have like really good quality this year, but we need to put it like on the service of the team. Like whatever we need to do, we must do it. And I think that if we try to grow in that direction, I think we will have like many opportunities to be in the Final Four and to try to win it. So.
How high is the bar set for him personally and the team as well?
I think like we must like achieve, like we must think and we must set our expectations like extremely high. I think I would be happy if we win everything. Like I think we must think that way. I think because then if we think that way and if our expectations are that one, like we will work every day towards that objective. And I think it must be that. My objective is that we play really good as a team. I think if we manage to do that, we will be like for sure a contender like to win the Champions League, and I think we must be there. And if then some team comes and plays better than us, like we can congratulate them and that's it. But I think we need to think that way.
From the Champions League to some other European aquatics competitions. With qualifications played in Slovakia and Malta, we now know all the participants of the Challenger Cup quarter-finals that are going to be played in January and February next year. The first match of the quarter-finals is Vitória de Zan. The Portuguese came second in Group A and are going to have a difficult job against De Zan from the Netherlands. The Dutch were unbeaten in Group B. Second from De Zan's Group B is JBAS Vilnius. The Lithuanians are coming back to Slovakia to play Novaki, the first from Group C. Donk Club Fluvial is another Dutch-Portuguese clash. Donk was dominant in the qualifications and is favourite to go through. And the last of the quarterfinals is Ljubljana Slovan Sljema. The Slovenians are hoping for a win against the Maltese squad, who were the winners of Group C played in Malta. The quarterfinals are scheduled to be played on the 18th of January and the 1st of February next year. The Champions League for women is in session also. 2 rounds have been played and the next one is scheduled for the 25th of November. This is how the groups look like after 2 rounds. Sabadell and Vuliarmeni are unbeaten in Group A with 6 points. Vuliarmeni hosts Sabadell in the 3rd round, a direct battle for the 1st place. Donivaros and Terrassa are both without points. Group B has a clear favourite, Ferencváros first on 6 points. Mataro and Padova are trying to stay close. The Polar Bears are out of the picture already. Olympiacos and Roma are first and second in Group C, and they meet in the next round. If the Italians win, they take 1st place. Donk is 3rd with 2 points, Betson has none. And in Group D, it's the Spanish and Italians who are both on top. St Andreu and Horizonte Catania have 6 points each. They will fight amongst themselves for the 1st place in the match that is going to be played in Spain. The 2 Hungarian teams finish the group, both without points. And for the end of this segment, European Aquatics has announced dates and the host cities for the Under-16 and Under-18 European Championships. The Under-16 Women Elite European Championships is in Manisa, Turkey, from the 27th of June to the 3rd of July. When they finish, it's time for the Under-16 Men Elite Championship to be played in the same place, but from the 7th of July to the 13th of July. The Under-18 Men Elite Championship is in Oradea, Romania in mid-August, and the Under-18 Women will be played in Găzire, Malta at the beginning of September. A summer full of competition amongst the best talents of this sport. The basics of any sport are the rules and regulations. It is understandable that any change of rules in any sport will bring a lot of noise. That was definitely the case this month with World Aquatics' decision to bring new rules into water polo. Reactions were many, and they varied from open disagreement, like many of the headlines from around the world can show. The others, like Felipe Peroni for example, are willing to see what will happen.
If it's not working now, maybe we need to change to find a solution. But it's not easy. I think everyone here in sport are in the same boat. We are all trying to make the sport better. But to find that way to make the game easier, to make the game more attractive to the people, there are many ideas, directions, and so I think it's not an easy balance, but if there are things that are not working, we need to change. And we're going to see what's the results and what we can do, or we need to change, we need to at least try. And then we're going to see which work will not work. But again, it's not easy. And I think the first thing that we always repeat and we always think in the sport, it's like we really need more investment in marketing, in media, that we can make the sport more accessible to the people.
So what are the new rules? Reduced possession time, it is now 25 seconds instead of 30. Second possession is 15 instead of 20. Exclusion period is 15 seconds instead of 20. Changes are significant in other areas also. Field of play is shortened, it is now 25 metres. A new set of rules gives coaches a possibility to challenge referees' decisions. If the coach's challenge is successful, they can have additional calls. All of the reactions and the importance of the new rules, of course, meant that the Water Polo World crew was on its way to Budapest to find out more. We sat down with Tamas Molnar, the chairman of the World Aquatics Technical Water Polo Committee. He's a former Hungarian national water polo team player that has won 3 gold Olympic medals in Sydney, Athens and Beijing, and he explains why the change right now.
In World Aquatics there is a completely new approach about changing the rules. Till 2 years ago, every 4 years on the Technical Congress was the only opportunity where you could change the rules. Today is completely different. You can change the rules every year with the approval of the Bureau. We don't want to change too often, but after 2 years of experience after the Olympic Games, as this is we have to emphasize this most after the Olympic Games, because I think this is the right moment. If we would like to change something, we have to use the moment right after the Olympic Games to give enough time for the teams to get ready for the next Olympic Games. And that was the reason we considered the experience of the last Olympic phase and to change, to propose some changes and modification and housekeeping in the rules.
Naturally, the next question is what were the reasons for the new rules and how long was World Aquatics thinking of these changes?
Looking back in the history, as I showed you in the document, it was always on the table, the 25 meter or 30 meters. First, it was tested in 1995 in Dunkirk in the Under-20 World Championships with some other proposal, and because it was tested with other proposal and it didn't give clear answer, that's why it was denied. Last time, in 2016, on the World League, it was tested again, but by the end of the day, it still was not supported. 2 years ago, we put into the rules the new 2-meter rule, and the result of the new 2 meters that the transition increased because the wing player can go till the baseline. That's why the distance in between the 2 attacks increased as well. And that's why the idea about the 25-meter field of play came up to the surface again. We tested this year in the under-18 World Championships in Buenos Aires, and we compared the data to the result of the Olympic Games and the result of the under-19 European Championship in Burgas, and the answer was clear. We have more attack, we have more goals, we have more penalties, we have more counter-attacks. The only negative thing was we had more contrafouls. Actually, it's obvious because if you cut 3-4 seconds from the transition, you give 3-4 more seconds in front of the goal, which can increase the static play, which we would like to reduce as much as possible. That's why the answer looked obvious, to reduce the attacking time at least as much as we cut from the transition. So that's why the idea first to reduce, to solve the problem that the contrafault, which is for me one of the biggest difficulty to understand from outside for the public. we have to reduce as much as possible. That's why the idea first was to reduce the attacking time as well.
When the new rules are being implemented into a sport, it's always the question, what are these rules going to bring?
Everybody is speaking about how to make water polo more popular, more attractive, and I think everybody agrees it's not the question of rules and regulation. From our side, we have to listen the outside professionals, stakeholders, who have experience from other sports. And I think from our side, we want to do as much as possible from our side to give some value according to the requirements of the market. And if we say like this, if we compare sports, in handball, the transition, it's 5-6 seconds. In basketball, we have the same. If you see water polo, the transition is 12-14 seconds, depend on the level of water polo, it's almost double. And I heard a lot of opinion from outside, and everybody is asking why we have this lot of swimming, boring swimming during the game, and if you consider that 30 seconds is the attacking time and 12-14 seconds is the transition, it means 40% of a water polo game just swimming up and down without any action. I know water is a different, it brings different conditions, different requirements. Water polo will always played in water, but we have to do as much as possible from technical, from rules and regulations side. And I think, I'm sure, okay, I'm not the smartest, probably I have some background, but I'm convinced that it will help to make water polo more attractive.
One of the interesting parts in this process was also the way the water polo audience responded to the announced changes.
When we are speaking about water polo, everybody agrees what is the interest of water polo. To make it more attractive, to make it less physical, less contact. But when we leave this table and when we finish the meeting, the next moment everybody starts to speak what is the advantage of this rule for Asia, America, Europe, what is the interest of different big countries. And by the end of the day, it doesn't matter what we decided. It will be divided the next moment, and everybody is trying to make some influence of the decision makers. And today with the social media, it's very easy to make some noises and some trouble any kind of process.
In the meantime, World Aquatics decided to appoint a commission that will analyse the implementation of the new rules during the World Cup Games this season. Water Polo World will follow this story as it unfolds. That's all for this episode of Water Polo World. Our December edition comes with a detailed review of the Champions League and the Euro Cup. We also find out what it's like to be a water polo coach on game day. We'll see you next month.